A mysterious AC with a Ford Rumble has been seen around Devonshire, England. I love the F40 for what it is, but the AC, which I'm going to tell you about now, is the only one in the world. And one of one, when you have one of anything, and it's irreplaceable, it's both it's a blessing and a curse. The curse is there's no comps. It's only worth what two people fighting over it will say it's worth. Whereas if you have a 250 GTO, you know it's $52 million or whatever. What happened was, again, I was watching, and the pound was at a very good place at this time. And I was looking for a Cobra, but in the UK, because the pound was down. So I was on classicdriver.co.uk, and I came across something that said ACV8. That's all it said. It was very cryptic, not a lot of information. I emailed the guy. It was a local kind of used car dealer guy. And he sent me some information. He said, yeah, in 62, AC started building a replacement for the Ace, because the Ace was started in 50, in 52, 53. So it was aging. It was a tube chassis. It was really old technology. And they were working on a replacement for it, which was codenamed MA200. MA was short for the designer, an Eastern European gentleman by the name of Majewski, who designed the MiG jet, by the way. So he was an aircraft designer. So the car was going to be super modern, tube, like birdcage, Maserati type birdcage chassis. It was going to run a Hypo 289, roll up windows, which the AC didn't have. It was going to be performance, but a little bit more luxurious than the AC. So they actually did build one, MA200. They produced it. Then Carroll Shelby shows up, and he says, I'll take all the Aces you can build. Now, at the time that the factory's in Thames, it's a little place. They had a little factory line. They do not have room to build 2 rows of cars. So, Carroll Shelby's paying, and he's buying all they can make. So they dropped the project. Derek Hurlock, who was the chairman of AC Cars at the time, made it his personal car. He drove it for a couple of years, took his daughter to school in it, went grocery shopping. So I'm going back and forth with the guy. The car sounds interesting. It sounds like it's been abused. It's missing some original parts. But to me, I could see he didn't know what he had. So I actually did not fly to see it because it wasn't that expensive. I sent him the money in pounds, and the pounds was low at the time. He shipped the car over. We got it. It ran. It started, but it was in pretty sorry shape. I took it to Creative Workshop in Dania, they've got a bunch of Pebble and Amelia awards. And at the same time, and this is part of the most fun of car collecting, is the digging and the research. In fact, you kind of lose interest once that's all done and you have the car and it's put away, it's on to the next one. So I start doing some research, and I tracked down this engineer, Majewski, in the UK. I emailed him, and I got a reply, call me. And I call him with this number, and it's his son. He said, unfortunately, my dad passed away, but he left a whole box of stuff on this car. Can I have it? He goes, just send me £100 for shipping. He sends me this box. I get it. 27 original factory engineering drawings. Life-size, full-size axle suspension drawings, quarter-scale drawings of the bodies, the front chassis where the engine attaches. Just unbelievable. And even better, a handwritten spiral-bound notebook with his dad's notes, like change spring rates from 8 to 12 pounds. Unbelievable stuff. Going even deeper, 8x10 photos, black and white, of the buck in wood for the body, of them dropping the 289 Hypo into it, of them hand forming the aluminum bumper. Just unbelievable. And the beauty of that was that my restoration guys were able to use a jeweler's loupe and exactly identify and do everything correct as it left the factory. Now, I had a problem, though, because the car didn't come with its born-with motor. There was a rumor, which I could not prove anywhere, that because of Derek Hurlock's help with Ford at Le Mans, they gave him a GT40 motor and that he put it in that car. Well, I did confirm that the block was a GT40 block, but it had regular Hypo heads and a regular hypo intake manifold. So I had to make a decision. Do I go with that rumor or do I bring it back to the way it left the factory? And I decided I should bring it back. I'll put that motor on a stand, bring it back to the way it left the factory. So, of course, all these pictures really came in handy. I even have a photograph, a beautiful color photograph of Derek Herlock standing in front of the AC car factory with a bunch of, not Cobras, but Aces in the window and this car in front. And you can see the difference in how modern it is. But now we have a problem because it was a 1963 hypo motor, which only in 63 they had a timing valve cover oil fill. All after that, they were all valve cover oil fills. So I searched and searched, and I found one. Now, what was weird is on the VIN plate, you have a chassis number, and that said engine number 1442. I'm like, that's really weird. Ford doesn't use 4-digit numbers. You know, where's this FE, blah, blah, blah. And then I find out, doing some more research, that hypo motors have a stamp on the back in the order of their production in addition to the other number. The original hypo motor in there was 1442, and I got 1644. 200 afterwards, which means it was made the same day. That block was made the same day as the one that was originally in the car. To think that 40 years later, and it was so close. So now the fun began sourcing all the parts because it's a prototype. So they didn't manufacture much. It used an E-type expansion tank, and all the forms really came in handy with this. The rear taillights were from an NSU 1100. The license plate light was from a Porsche 356. But we figured all that out after a 3.5-year and rather more expensive than I planned restoration. We had its first U.S. showing at Amelia in 2010, and we won Best of Class at Amelia. Later on, we went to what was Meadowbrook, then called Inn of St. John's, and we won Best of Class there, and Best of Class at Winter Park as well. But it's always, everybody's like, what is that? What is that? I've never seen it. No one knew about it. It was really a secret, except for a couple of weird things, like, because as you do your research, you find more and more stuff. There was a little, I don't know if you remember in Road and Track back in the day, they had a column called Miscellaneous Ramblings. And in this 1964 January issue of Road and Track, Miscellaneous Ramblings, the title was, Is This the Next Cobra? And it said, a mysterious AC with a Ford Rumble has been seen around Devonshire, England, you know, and that was the last. That was the last of it. And interestingly, I wrote to the editor of Road and Track and said, guess what? I have this car, okay? And maybe you want to, do something about it since you wrote about it, and I got no reply. I would say that's probably the holy grail of my collection.
This time of year, I know a lot of us are trying to clean out our garages and maybe get rid of some things that we probably don't need. So if there's an extra set of wheels and tires sitting over in the corner, or an exhaust that you forgot to install, or a part you bought 2 of and forgot about that too, the best place to sell them is on ModFind. And likewise, if you're trying to find a part, new, used, aftermarket OEM for your car, truck, project, whatever, the best place to shop for those is also on ModFind. ModFind is a free app that you can download in the Android or iOS store, and that will allow you to buy, sell, transact, whatever you want to do, a car, a part, a tool, anything related to the automotive hobby. It also allows you to create a listing and then add a kickback to incentivize your followers to share it with their followers. They make it very easy to share to all the major social platforms, and we'd like to thank them for their support of VINwiki this month. Please go download their app today, buy, sell your parts. A few of mine are already listed there, and it's a great platform, and I cannot wait to see where they go from here.